Hello and welcome, and Kat, I'm still planning on last place, but I did find this shirt at Indigo and it was too good to pass up. Hello and welcome to the first video of 2026. I had this week planned to start the listening path, but the introduction is holding me up. The Listening Path is by Julia Cameron. It's a 6-week program that, yes, focuses on listening. Once I get the introduction figured out and recorded, hopefully that will be today or tomorrow, that will be starting on Monday, January the 12th. It will be 7 videos altogether, the introduction and then the 6 weeks. That will be followed by The Artist's Way, also by Julia Cameron, starting on Monday, March the 2nd. Yes, I have my notes down here. And that will run for 13 weeks. Again, an introduction and the 12 weeks of the program. Part of the holdup trying to talk about the listening path has been 2 weeks in the program. I do recommend that if you're going to do the listening path or the Artist's Way, it is good to get your own copy of the works, as I'm only going to be reading a small portion from each of the weeks, giving a couple of examples of the exercises and reading a few of the quotes. But I don't want people to just go out and buy the book and then find out it isn't for them. The suggestion that I came up with is check your library and see if you can give it a test run that way. With the listening path, just be aware that 1 week is about talking to those who have passed on from our lives. In other words, speaking to the spirits of our loved ones. Another week is about talking to our heroes, and again, they may not be here in material form. That type of thing may not work for everybody, which is why I recommend giving the books a test run, also going to Julia Cameron's website and learn more about her and the various works that she's put out. That plan is now in place and ready to move forward. I am also still working on my book murdering video, and I need to get a bit more done. My recent book haul, yes, I did go for the 30% off at Goodwill and found a number of amazing titles that I did share in my community post the other day. A number of those particular books I picked up specifically for the book murdering projects. This is just an example, not one of the books I'm currently planning to use, but it's the right size to demonstrate and let Noah know what I'm going to be doing. So first I go through and count out the books. I've checked a couple of different YouTube channels to figure out how to do that. Some books I may take out all the pages and set up what are called signatures. I found out that with the hardcovers I plan on using, I can fold a normal sheet of paper that will work for the signatures. I also have a lot of scrapbooking 13 by 13, so I'll need to cut them down. But this is a cool set because they have different colors front and back. So that'll be a nice addition when I fold them in half and can use them for the signatures. These have been hole punched because I have those planned for an entirely different type of journal and project. So Noah, I just want you to know the plan isn't to just destroy books. It's actually to create something specific. So The Stephen King I'm looking at will be to keep all my horror book notes. Other things that I wanted to mention in this video, the vampire series will be starting likely in February. Fingers crossed, depends on my reading. But with that, I want to be sure I have at least 5 videos scheduled in advance, my reading planned out to make sure that I can read the stories, have my notes, recording, editing done, so there's a constant flow to that. As I mentioned in my channel update 2026 video, this year will be more about series. So the listening path followed by the artist's way, the vampires in literature and movies will be ongoing. I'll also be doing an out of the box series, Bigfoot, UFOs, alien astronauts, that type of thing, as well as getting back to Hoax or Holy Grail, which will be 1 video per month because that will take a lot more time and research to delve into those various subjects like Nostradamus, Edgar Cayce, and there's a lot of reading and research involved to those. So Hoax and Holy Grail will be once a month. The other series, once I get them going, will be weekly. As far as my reading and my life, Goodreads this year, for the 2nd year in a row, I'm setting my goal at 25. I know I should be able to knock that off by February if all goes well. Took me a bit longer last year, but last year was not normal for, I don't think, anybody on the planet who was paying attention and aware of various events. But I also know that I'm immensely and too competitive with myself. So if I put the number up at 100, which I did manage to pull off 3 years in a row, but what I found by the end of the year, I wasn't reading for enjoyment, I was reading for a number. And to me, that defeats the purpose of reading and why I read. So if I set the number way low at 25, get it done by February, possibly March, depending on how the year flows, then I don't change the number. It's accomplished, it's done, I forget about it, and I move on with my year. So that's what works best for me. In terms of reading events this year, I likely won't be participating in very many. They're fun and enjoyable. I do prefer the easy, just read a few books, because this year I have a lot of projects and things planned, many carryovers from 2025 that I didn't get to. So if an event ties in with what I've planned to read at that point, then I will participate. And if not, then sadly I'm going to have to take a pass this year. As far as YouTube, that will be Monday to Friday in terms of my recording, editing, reading, doing notes, all of that type of thing. There will be the odd exception to do live streams on the weekends in order to accommodate various guests, because we all have different schedules and there are a lot of people who I enjoy chatting with, and a Monday to Friday schedule doesn't work for them. So yes, there is one exception. But in terms of doing recording and that type of thing, I'm going to try and stick with the Monday to Friday routine and look at YouTube as a job, as in something I do for free and for fun. To me, work is what you do for a paycheck and cover the bills. And yes, I may at some point this year start trying to figure out something in terms of work, because it would be nice to have a little extra income in the future. So we'll see what happens with that plan. Weekends this year are going to be focused, as I said, with the exception of some live streams, on home, friends, virtual tea, in person, doing crafts, just kicking back and relaxing. Maybe a pajama day or a Lord of the Rings marathon type thing, because I learned my lesson in 2025 during the summer. There were so many things I didn't get done in my yard that I really wanted to, but I kept putting things off. Sometimes it was because of the weather. I can't change that, gotta go with the flow. Sometimes it was because of my back, and I have to be careful because I do live with chronic pain and have back issues. But other times it was because I ended up recording and doing content for YouTube instead of getting outside on a good sunny day when I was feeling well and could have gotten things done. So it was a good lesson in terms of setting priorities. My channel and the community is important to me. I value everyone who gifts me with their time to watch the videos and leave comments, but I also need to prioritize my everyday away from social media life and get on with some of those things that I had planned and didn't get to last year. In terms of priorities, last year I did manage to get 10 extra hours a week by eliminating TV/streaming. I don't spend near the same amount of time watching either programs or movies as I used to. That means I have extra time to get to the projects and do some extra reading that I want. This year I have knitting projects that I'm hoping to start in the next few weeks. I want to continue finishing different coloring projects. I have a number of books that I can pull from, and some of that work will be appearing around the room as it's completed. I think the door, I'm going to be moving that craft basket, which is handy, but I may just put it inside, and then I can put some amazing pictures along the door behind me there. There are a number of other projects I want to get to, so with that 10 extra hours I find, I should be able to make a dent in those various goals. That gives you an idea of what's coming up on the channel this year and some of my priorities personally as far as reading and life schedule. The other thing I did want to mention is I'm very much focused on training the algorithm. And I know there's no secret, but this is something I heard on one of the small how-to channels, and I decided I'd give it a try, and so far it's working. I've reduced the number of videos on purpose. That way, YouTube only expects me to put, well, lately 2 videos out a week. It will be going back up to at least 3 a week because the readings will be starting again shortly on Friday. I figure if I stick with 3 videos a week right now, that fits into my schedule. It's manageable. YouTube will begin to realize that's what I'm producing and expect it, and my numbers will continue to move upward. I do know that when I was producing more videos, but if I didn't always have that same number each week, the numbers quickly reflect that. So I figure if I keep it small, train the algorithm, this is all I'm doing. Then if I end up having an extra video or 2, that's definitely a bonus, but YouTube isn't going to expect me to keep producing that time and time again. And I'll be honest, and I've said it before, I enjoy the small, steady growth because, again, That trains the algorithm. I'm moving along, things are moving up. I'm good with the slow and steady growth. It gives me time to plan and figure out what I'm doing. It gives me time to be able to keep up with comments and interact, because for me, that's the big part of having the YouTube channel, is making those connections and sharing thoughts and ideas, not just about books, but different crafts and hobbies. I appreciate and value everyone who gives me the gift of their time, watching videos, leaving comments, sharing recommendations. I found some amazing authors thanks to viewers' comments and suggestions. I'm excited about the upcoming content this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to do my best to keep up, get my reading plan so things flow and I don't end up having another hiatus of no content. Continuing on with great buddy reads, both the Vampire Chronicles and ACOTAR series. I have other buddy reads coming up that I'll mention in my community posts. Looking forward to those. I hope everyone has had a good start to 2026. Looking forward to seeing where other people's channels go as well. Looking forward to hearing great things from viewers and what's going on in their lives. What are you reading? What new projects do you have planned and on the go? And until next time, be safe, be well, and big hugs.